my name in the Wesleyan Alumni Group. Stanley Brown over at the McLean office had made him an offer, and he was just kind of checking out how things were in New Hampshire. I said to him, Dave, come on in. McLean's only the second best law house. Almost a 60 years friendship, and I hope that it never ends. Dave, congratulations.
Tim said when Dave landed in Queen City on June 6, 1958 on the left bank of the Merrimack River, he went to work for the McLean firm and studied for the bar under the tutelage of Jack Middleton, who I also understand was his mentor in teaching him how to abstract titles, according to Dave. Jack Middleton, president.
When Dave arrived in our office in 1958, I was told we had a great football star from Wesleyan. I said, who the hell ever heard of Wesleyan football? Anyway, Dave joined us, and we managed to do a few things together. The first night he was in town, he left his car on the street and got a ticket, and came in the next morning and told us that he was going to appeal that to the district court. And nobody at that point in time in 35 years had ever won a case before Judge Cretion. So we said to him, you know, very unlikely you're going to get very far with it. But no, David pursued the case and went to court and lost his first case. Not a great start for a great trial lawyer, you might say.
We also have another great trial lawyer who also served on the Superior Court and is on the Supreme Court, retired Supreme Court Justice William Batchelor. Judge Batchelor. To welcome David into his 9th decade. I mentioned that to him earlier today, and he started talking about me and not him. But let's face it, it's the 9th decade, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want David to enjoy his 9th decade without any guilt feelings. And David did a lot of things over the years for Betty and me. And I felt that I owed him a little something. I told the governor I thanked him, but I wanted 2 or 3 weeks to think it over. Then what happened was, I got another call from Nixon. And it was very congenial and very friendly. And we talked for a few minutes. And when I put the phone down, I called the governor's office and told him that I would accept the position. We also have another trial lawyer, trial judge, and retired Supreme Court Justice David Brock, who has breakfast with Dave every Saturday. Judge Brock.
You did it again. You kind of preempted what I was going to try to do, speaking about David, the serious side of him. The others, I thought it was much too humorous and possibly embarrassing for Dave at this age. But I just delight in the opportunity given me to join with you in helping our amazing friend, Dave Nixon, and his wonderful family celebrate his birthday, 80 years young.
I'd like now to introduce Cindy Sheehan, who's worked with Dave for 31 years. All the stories she could tell.
Unfortunately, I won't be as great a speaker as those before me. I don't have the humor to share. I'm not a public speaker. I've just been a long-time employee of Dave, as Tom said, for going on 31 years. Hard to believe, I know. But I come from a long line of women that have been a part of Dave's lives. It started with my sister Kathy, who worked on his campaign for governor, and then my sister Linda Johnson, who some of you know at the McLean firm. She worked with Leslie Nixon and with Dave at Nixon Christie Tessier back in the 70s after school during the summers. And she said that it was through her great work experience with Dave that she decided to go on and pursue her career as a lawyer. And her philosophy that she learned from Dave was, you work very hard, but you have a lot of fun. And that's something Dave has carried on through all the years that I've worked with him. Then came my mother, who worked with David Brown Nixon, and she worked with him for a number of years. And I was living in California. She said, "Come and work at the Brown Nixon law firm." And I'm like, "No, I really don't want to." And it was the best advice she ever gave me, because here I am 30 years later, working with probably one of the greatest men that we all know. Everyone in this room, there's not anything I can say about him to describe him that each and every one of you can't say yourself. He's kind, caring, generous, and not only did he teach me about law, but he taught me more about being a decent human being. No matter how minor the case or how tragic the case, every client that walks into that office, he treats as though they were the only one that he ever had. The weekends, this morning, I'm in the office, and there he is working just before he comes to his own party. I mean, that's what he does. And Dave, I thank you from the depths of my heart for everything that you've ever done, and I hope I have another 30 years with you.
I know. The drinks are free, but you want to get back to them, and I know David is already worried about you all standing and listening too long. So this is going to be quick. I've been actually asked to stand in for Governor John Lynch. Be it hereby known that I, John Lynch, Governor of the state of New Hampshire, join with my fellow citizens in extending my personal best wishes and sincerest congratulations to David Nixon, who is celebrating his 80th birthday on March 19, 2012 in Manchester, New Hampshire. On behalf of the citizens of New Hampshire, I commend you for the commitment you have given to your family, state, and community, and wish you a very happy birthday.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my privilege, honor and privilege, to introduce our favorite octogenarian, David Nixon.
Not many people can arrange to get eulogized before they're dead. But I've succeeded. I really, Winston Churchill, after all, dictated the terms of his own funeral, so I can have a little bit to do with my 80th birthday. So I said to the committee consists of Kurt and Tom and Jean Marie and Barbara Warren and Cindy and I think I covered, and Dave Flosky. And I want to thank you, and also thank Peaches and Jeff Page, who run this joint, to allow us to be here with a 10-minute open bar until 3:30. I would like to introduce you to my wife, who's been my supporter for as long as we've known each other. Come on up, Patty. Tom's brother, Jimmy Barry, who's retired from the Superior Court, had a real flashy-looking blonde that he was interested to back in 2003. And he wanted to go to a bar with her, but he didn't want to be seen at a bar by himself as a judge with a blonde. So he got her to bring a friend, and he got me to go. And I said, "Jimmy, leave me alone. After all the problems I've had with women." I said, "I'm getting right up there with Chuck Douglas." Chuck was going to be here. I don't know if he made it. Maybe he just left. But really, Patty and I have had a great time supporting each other. And I hate to tell you that she has a heavier burden. And she was here the other night when Bob Lavery and Kenny Thomas brought me back from the end zone. And she's been there ever since. We've been married and before. I also would like to have you meet my family. My oldest daughter is Leslie, married to Senator Lee Nyquist. And Lee's here, and he's probably trying to take care of the twins, Lincoln and Linnea. Lincoln is obviously named after Abraham Lincoln, and Linnea is named after the Swedish national flower. So, and they are a couple of rambunctious kids. Then there's my daughter Melanie, and my daughter Wendy, who's married to B.J. Branch, God bless them, and they're just back from a vacation. Wendy. Thank you. And here's my youngest son, Louis Gerard Nixon II, named after my dad, who passed away in 1965 at age 63, as I keep telling Kenny Thomas when he keeps telling me to behave myself. And They always asked during the campaign when Pat D'Alessandra's husband, Lou D'Alessandro, would be campaigning with us, he said, is he Louis Jr. or Louis the Third? What is he? I said, he's Louis the Last. And Lou is here with his wife Trudy and their children Jeremy and Kiera, spelled Keira, I think. And another special grandchild, Christina Nyquist King, is here from Washington, D.C., where she works for the U.S. Geological Survey. And I'm proud of Christina, too. And we came home from North Conway yesterday, dead tired, and we had mentioned to Louis about the fact that if he could arrange to cut down the bushes outside the kitchen window, we could see up the river and see into Vale, even though we couldn't play it yet. And we came home and it was done. But he had some help. And the help he had is my oldest son, David L. Nixon Jr. He came here from Missoula, Montana. And I'm sorry to be bragging about my family, but you know yourselves that it's family that keeps you going when you need to. And they have certainly done that. It is true I was born on not March 18th. I thought, Cecily, geez. My oldest granddaughter, Cecily Lee Denver, who was at my age, Bob Norton will tell you, you always forget something. I really wasn't born on March 17th. I wish I had been. And I used to ask my mother, instead of having me on St. Joseph's Day, March 19th, why didn't you try for St. Patrick's Day? And she said I was always late. And she was. And then I asked her, having been born in Concord, Massachusetts, near Walden Pond, if she in fact had probably named me after Henry David Thoreau. And my mother had a sense of humor. And she said, no, but you're lucky I wasn't thinking of his good friend Ralph Waldo Emerson. In any event, I have to tell you, you're all here for a purpose. And that's because, in some meaningful way, you've helped me get wherever I've gone. And to those of you who've given me good advice, I'm sorry I didn't take it. And nobody could have two better friends than Kim Zachis and Jack Middleton. Isn't that true? And 4 hours I'd go around and name you all. But it is true that each and every person here, whether you know it or not now, you've done something, said something, showed something that I've said, gee, that's pretty good. And that's why you're here. And if I go to heaven or the other place where lawyers go, at any time soon, I'll have a memory that I'll treasure. And that's what we should all be doing, I think. Trying to do things in such a way that you have a memory that you'll always treasure. Because sooner or later, as I think Morris Chevalier said, when they asked him how it felt to be, I think in his case, 85, he said it's not so bad when you consider the alternative. And that's true here too. So that's it. And there are 3 rules for this get-together. 1 is talk and mingle. 2 is eat food. And 3 is take advantage of the open bar. It's open for 10 minutes. Thank you very, very much.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
How are you?